Let's roll. This is SportsGrid. I am Morency. Countdown to kickoff is on. And as I stated off the top of the program, pretty much like I would assume more than 50% of you, because so many games mean something this week, except for the two people that are with us right now. Right? Like, there's you know what I mean? You got the Denver Broncos and the Chargers playing this weekend, not against each other again, but like no big vested, they got to win, they got to do this, they got to do that. But good to see you, Mick. How you doing?
Yeah, good, and I think Joe might become an Oilers fan soon because those Flames are no good. But yeah, crazy games this week. I've listened to so many shows to try and get my picks right, but a lot of games are just going to be like exhibition games with backup quarterbacks. So terrible, a lot of the games.
And for the record, so last week, Joe, 16-9 Chargers Broncos.
Yeah, and I expected it. I took the Broncos laying five in that one, not 5.5. I laid 5 with them. I expected them to win that by 6 or more, so it's okay. Chargers were due for that loss. They might get the win this weekend, though, so we'll see what they're able to do against KC with all of their backups in.
They really are just spineless, this Charger team, though. They really are. As Mick says, what do you call them, Mick? Soft surfer boys? What do you call them, Mick?
Yeah, they're soft out there. I mean, anyone that plays NFL is tough. But yeah, they're too worried about surfing and the beach and the women. I don't blame them. But then you get teams like the Packers or whatever, Bears in the tough, cold climates, that which makes you tough as a footballer. And what a ripper of a game, Bears at Packers. That should be a beauty. But yeah, a lot of terrible games too, mate.
No, you know what, though, for the most part, look, so the two games tomorrow, they mean something. Atlanta and New Orleans mean something. Jacksonville, Tennessee means something. All right, Tampa Bay and Carolina means something. Packers, Bears means something. Cowboys and the Eagles and stuff, they are playing for seeding still. But you're right, Mick. And then you get to the Bills and the Dolphins. That's sort of the main event of the weekend. But Joe, I'll ask you, who do you like tomorrow in these two games? Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-point favorites against the Baltimore Ravens. So much talk about the Ravens' backups. It should be noted, 6 starters aren't playing. It's not like they're sitting everybody. 6 starters are not in the starting lineup of this football game. Pittsburgh need to win the game, and then they need Jacksonville to lose the game to get into the playoffs. So Pittsburgh are 3-point favorites, and you got the Houston Texans and the Colts battling for a playoff spot. Who do you like tomorrow, Joe?
Yeah, when we look at the Pittsburgh and the Ravens game, it's hard to lay that many points with Pittsburgh. I think they probably pull off the win. You got to remember also the Ravens, if they lose that and then the Bills, they don't want to face the Bills, right? So there's a way in for the Steelers to get in. I could see that being a tighter game than the number. So it would be the Ravens plus the points, but I expect the Steelers to be able to get the win. I'm also looking at the Bears. I think the Chicago Bears is my best bet of the weekend. On the money line as well, I'm going to grab plus the points, but I think on the money line, I think they break that streak. They get the win over the Green Bay Packers. I don't trust the Packers defense at the moment. This defense has been having so many struggles out there, and I look at the Bears coming into this one. Justin Fields absolutely is playing for his career in Chicago. I really do think we'll see another strong performance out of him. I'm going to take him over his rushing yards. It was 51.5 earlier in the day, so as long as it's right around that number, I do expect him to have success out there with his legs. I'd look at him for that rushing touchdown as well. Now, Jordan Love is going to come out. He's going to try to get this win here. Everyone talking about him doing what Aaron Rodgers couldn't, and I do think he finds success, but I don't think it's enough against the Bears and the defense. So the Bears plus the points with the money line as well for me.
Interesting. A lot of people like the Chicago Bears this week. The Bears have played great football over the last month and a half, 5-1 last 6 games. Fields has played great, but I do personally believe the Green Bay Packers are going to get it done in that game, but I see them being in the minority there. Mick, what do you have for us this week?
All right, well, I changed my mind at the very last minute because Kaplan on Coast to Coast said that Ravens are resting a lot of players, Steelers to win just, but I hope I'm wrong. Ravens on the +3. And I am going to go for the Packers to win outright. I know the Bears have been playing well. Let's see how they go under pressure, because some teams are not good under pressure. When other teams play loose, they get up and win. But I want Jordan Love and those Packers to win, like Joe said, because Rodgers and the Packers lost last year in Week 18. And I hope that Jimmy Kimmel gets Jordan Love on his show next week. Someone said that today, and I laughed my head off, because I said last week that Aaron Rodgers was a flog, and he put his foot in mouth disease again. What an idiot Aaron Rodgers has become. And I used to love him. You know that, Gabe. I stuck up for him for years. But he's a clown now, mate. Wants all the attention, just like Brett Favre did. So let's hope Jordan Love has a great career and doesn't end up an idiot like those two star quarterbacks for the Packers. Packers to win, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a good point, Mick. Weird things happen to you when you become a Green Bay Packer quarterback. From who you start and then who you are 20 years down the road. It's a very good point. But I like what you said, though, Mick, as far as you want to see Jordan Love do, succeed and get the Packers in the play. And how about that, though? Think about it, Joe, and what he's saying. I get that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but the Jets were a disaster, and the Packers could make the playoffs in their first year without Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love has played great football for them. I'm a fan of Jordan Love. I think he's a good kid. He's been through a lot of adversity. It's not an easy situation. It's very difficult to follow in the footsteps of Rodgers and Favre and all that in that market, but he's handled it well. One win away from making the playoffs. So what else do you got for us, Mick? What about my Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins? What's your pick? And I'll get Joe's pick for the Bills-Dolphins game. What are you doing with that?
Yes, mate. I absolutely think your Bills will win. Probably because the Dolphins have got injuries at wide receiver and Chubb out, the former Bronco defensive end. Too many injuries for the Dolphins, and I think the Bills' defense that has come good lately will stop all those little passes. Dolphins should stick with the run, though, but they tend to go away for that. Bills to win, and obviously if they think they're going to win, I'll take the -3 on that one. And I hope they do. I hope the Bills make the playoffs. Keep the Steelers out too, those rotten ones. I don't like the Steelers.
Well, if Baltimore beats them tomorrow, Buffalo are in. And no offense to any Pittsburgh Steeler fan tuning in right now, but I'm going to be pulling for the Harbaughs this weekend. Both Harbaughs, Jim and Don.
Like it.
You know what? Yeah. Baltimore win this game, the Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs, right? The Bills get in no matter what happens. If Pittsburgh or Jacksonville lose, I think one of them are going to lose, to be honest. And I wouldn't be surprised if they both lost. Now, Tennessee aren't very good, but teams in the last week, Joe, they have superhuman strength. Like, like moms that can lift the car up if their kid's in danger and stuff. Suddenly, bad teams play well on the way out. Teams that need to get in play uptight and stuff like that. So I think it could possibly happen there. But what do you think, Joe, of those other games? With the Jaguars need the win against the Titans. All the pressure's on them. All the pressure's on the Buffalo Bills as well against the Dolphins. All the pressure on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well against the Panthers.
Yeah, I think you look at the Dogs in a lot of these situations. I love the Titans plus the points. You know how strong Mike Vrabel is as an underdog. I do think they look to play upset in this matchup versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Question marks around if Trevor Lawrence is going to play, something wrong with his finger as well. And then I'm looking at the Atlanta Falcons plus the points versus the New Orleans Saints. You're putting Derek Carr in a favorite position, laying a field goal. I just can't get there. I think the Atlanta Falcons, with how their defense has been playing as of late, have every opportunity of pulling off this win. And when you look at your Buffalo Bills, I think the Buffalo Bills win that by up to a touchdown in that game. I think it's a battle with Miami, but one that the Buffalo Bills can win and pull away late. I think we're going to sweat that game out, but I trust Josh Allen out there. And it's not a statement I've been able to say a lot, but in the pressure of this game, he knows he absolutely needs to win. He's so strong with his legs, and if he can get that running touchdown in for us, I think that's the difference. And that's where they get that cover. I would lay up to 7 with that game.
The Buffalo Bills have absolutely owned the Miami Dolphins. They've beaten them 9 of the last 10 times that they've played. it's just been a house of horrors for whatever reason. You know, the Dolphins are always beat up. They don't have their quarterback. Something happens. We saw that in the playoffs when they played when Skylar Thompson was the quarterback. Miami last beat them September 25th, 2022. And I remember that game. That was the super hot game when guys on the Bills were throwing up and needing IVs and all that. Bills won 48-20, 34-31, 32-29. Guys, I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be sort of one of those type of games. You know, 30-27. I don't think it's going to be easy for the Bills, Mick. I think the Bills are going to win, but the Bills don't do anything easy, bro. They like to cause, why do you think I have no hair? Right? It's because I'm a Bills fan. That's like reason number one. Because of the Bills. So they don't do anything easy, Mick. So I'm expecting a little bit of a stress, little bit of a roller coaster in this game a bit, but I expected to beat the Miami Dolphins as well. So, Mick, before we get you out of here, Bethel, the Elks bring back Thompson to the CFL. They're throwing Tre Ford under the bus. I guess he's going to be available. So good for him. He's going to get a shot somewhere because he is good, but we got 30 seconds. What'd you think about that?
Oh, absolutely terrible. Very upset. And the new president said a few weeks ago that Tre Ford's the future. He sells tickets and things like that. So I bet you he's upset, but he wouldn't have anything to do with that decision, I think, because Chris Jones is GM and coach. Very upset, mate. I'm like you. Tre Ford is a beauty, has potential to be a Michael Vick of the CFL.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.